vision's clear. We are the tip of the spear. The spark became a fire. Now the fire's burning here. Together we will fly. The tip of the spear. Tip of the spear. Right, I love it. Welcome everybody to the tip of the spear. How is everybody doing? Mr. Ty Cobb, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you letting me come together every month when we do the tip of the spear. Seems like we get new podcasters on, so it's great and exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely growing, man. I love it. I think we have like over 40, 50 people in the email chain for everything. So I love it. So I just wish it keeps growing. And that's the whole thing. Just the tip of the spear keeps growing. That way we can talk about things. And glad you're back again. Mr. John Cole, how are you, sir?
Doing good, brother. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful, my friend. Welcome to this tip of the spear. I know this is your first time being here. I want to say thanks to where did we get connected? Was it through Marie or was it through?
It was me. I added him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was Marie.
Yeah, I know we connected somewhere, but we were also. Was you in Cav? Were you in Cavart's?
Yeah, I added him.
Yeah.
So John had me on his show. We got connected through a podcasting site, and I had him on my show, or he had me on his show, and then I introduced him to Tip of the Spear and Cavarts. So really glad that he's
Nice.
Yeah, that's where I heard about him on the Cav Arts last month, I think.
Yeah, the art of podcasting. Yeah, that we did. So I love it.
And then I got Marie's networking, so we're gonna have Marie on the Triple Threat Vet podcast here pretty soon. I'm sure we'll do some swaps.
Heck
awesome.
yeah.
It's perfect.
Miss Carol Lee, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's wonderful to be here.
Well, we are glad you were back and you were able to join.
Thank you.
How's the life in Tennessee down there?
Oh gosh, I'm definitely keeping busy and trying to stay out of trouble, but I don't know that that's going to happen. So
I got you, man. Ty Cobb, I tell you what, I'm really disliking TikTok at the present moment in time because they just restricted my live, said unoriginal content.
No shit, for real.
Wow.
Yeah, they're cracking down on that AI, man.
Well, it's not even AI. Like I waited until like the video was done, like the intro video portion of it, until we came up on the screen. So it's all of us on the screen right now. But they're like, oh, it's unoriginal content. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Wow.
I guess because I'm streaming from YouTube instead of straight to TikTok.
Oh,
because
maybe.
because I'm screen capturing from YouTube to TikTok. That's how I'm doing it. So maybe that's why. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they're catching on to the tricks.
Yeah, I think so because it's so hard to get a string key for TikTok, and I just want to punch them in their face. But anyway, moving on. Travis, how are you, sir?
Doing all right.
Welcome back. I'm glad you're back. I know you were sick last tip of the spear. How you feel?
Oh yeah, man. I had something. I don't know what I got, but I'm still coughing and from that. That was not fun.
I bet. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're feeling better. Hopefully you're still out there pumping the iron, my friend.
Yeah, I've got a meet next month. It's the Bay State Games, and if everything works out all right, I'll hit all my qualifying totals for 2027, and we'll get ready to rock this thing. Very grateful. June will be 5 years since I couldn't walk because of the quadricep rupture. So very, very grateful at this time in my life. And when it comes to weightlifting, absolutely.
Heck yeah. Well, when you come back to Louisville, man, I'm definitely going to have to take you back to Waffle House.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
No doubt. All right, Miss Marie, welcome back. How are you doing, my friend?
I am exhausted. Life has been lifing, and some good stuff, some heavy stuff, and just trying to continue moving forward. I wanted to say thank you, Willis. For those who don't know, my uncle, who is a veteran with PTSD and dementia, had a mental break and ended up hurting someone and went missing for a while after trying to attempting to take his own life. And Willis had people within minutes at his door trying to find him. And I was really grateful that Willis was, that this community is just so supportive. So currently he is in jail. We're trying to get him some support, get him the mental health that he needs, and so it's just heartbreaking to hear, we've talked about this before where, somebody has a mental break and they end up in jail instead of in treatment. And, we're going through that right now. So I'm just grateful that the veteran community is so supportive. And Willis, I just want to say thank you so much. My bio mom is just so grateful. Our family is just super grateful. So thank you for helping out.
No thanks needed. That's what I'm here for. That's what we should all be doing as the veteran community. We all should be here supporting. Luckily I have a really good network of veterans here in Kentucky, and all I did was make a post and say, hey, do I have anybody in this area? And within minutes I had people reaching out to me. We had Kevin go down there. He knocked on his door that first day. And they've been working on it. I mean, we got a Facebook Messenger group with everybody that's working on it. And it seems like hopefully they're going to do the mental health aspect of things and get him at the VA, because I believe they're trying to push it over there. So, and it looks like it might be going that route, especially if he's, with the dementia and everything else that's going on. Hopefully they can get him into the VA psych ward and he doesn't have to spend time in jail.
Yeah.
Let's just, unfortunately, in Rowan County, I think that's how you pronounce it, Rowan County. I don't know much about the judicial system there and how vet friendly they are. Like here in Louisville, we have Veterans Court. I don't know if they have that up there, but we're hoping that's the route it goes. So we'll just have to, play it by ear and see. And it's kind of like the JJ Millett story that Travis had. We've talked about several times here on the podcast. JJ, here, you want to tell the story, Travis?
Oh, sure, I can. So March 24th, I got reached out to by a woman named Emily Wheeler about her nephew, JJ Millett. He's a Vermont National Guard veteran, served over in Afghanistan with, that unit from Vermont. He was getting treatment from the VA for depression and PTSD. His meds were changed in January, and in February, he had a psychotic event, breakdown, whatever you want to call it. He called the 988 crisis line saying that he needed help and that he was in a bad way. And the crisis line contacted the Vermont State Police. They got him to turn himself in at the Vermont State Police barracks. And he surrendered his firearm and his pocket knife and his stuff, and they got back into VA care. While he was in VA care, because of the nature of this, there was a search warrant executed on his property, and the state police found a
journal
that they turned over to the prosecutor for the county in Vermont, and she decided that the contents of that journal raised this to a domestic terrorism issue. And it was argued that this is not domestic terrorism. He was keeping a journal of his treatment as he, was supposed to be doing. And, I don't know about you all, even when I was getting my quadricep rupture recovery, doing PT at the VA, I was encouraged to keep a journal to, tell how I felt, which was pretty bad. I wasn't in a good place during that time. Right. And so, this has been a real weird situation where he did not hurt anybody, did not want to hurt anybody, followed everything that he was told to do by the crisis line and the police, and is being charged with domestic terrorism law. And, this state and other states like Kentucky have a veterans court. This won't go to that court because Vermont doesn't have one. And so his lawyer, who's a veteran, argued successfully to have him released into his sister's recognizance, his sister's care. And he was doing everything great. And then he got released into his own care. And upon further analysis of the journal, the judge forbade the prosecution of referring to it as a manifesto. They have to refer to it as a journal, done for VA counseling, which is a huge story because people are selling this as a crazy veteran story, veteran acting weird and all that stuff. And so last month I got to go to Vermont and meet JJ personally at a fundraiser held by his local VFW and the Combat Vets Association Motorcycle Club. And I meet him, and it was like, wow. I mean, there's not a lot up there. It's primarily farm country. It reminded me of where I grew up in Illinois. And these are just hardworking, community people who feel like one of their own is getting railroaded. And as I'm sitting there talking with him and seeing people come up and talk with him, and they're talking to me, he says to me, "Yeah, this is bad. I'm very worried because, oh yeah, by the way, this carries a mandatory 20-year sentence. If this goes through, he's in jail for 20 years. No parole, no nothing. He's in jail for 20 years. So he'll be 58 years old, 56, 58 when he gets out."
Mm.
But his thing was, this has been hard on me. I'm, stressed out, money, all that other stuff. But he's like, if I go through this and I think I can beat this, I don't think I've done anything wrong, and I'm not going to take a plea deal. But if I go through this and this helps other veterans from going through the same thing, then this to me was worth going through, and I won't complain at all. And that kind of did it for me. I mean, not like, oh, woe is me, poor me, give me money, I need this, I need that. I simply don't want any other veteran to go through that. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to a colonel that I know who's done a lot of work in CID for the Army and other things, and is very well connected. He heard about this story, and he's getting other people involved. And I can say now that he is doing pro bono work for the defense, and he's also working with Tom Ridge. If you need to know who Tom Ridge is, Tom Ridge was the first Secretary of Homeland Defense for our country.
Oh, nice.
And so they're looking at this and like, this does not rise to the level of domestic terrorism at all. And they're starting to look at his journals. They're looking at everything. They're like, he's like, I agree with you, Travis. This looks like a prosecutor who had a chance to railroad a veteran
Yep.
and didn't think anybody would fight back. And I've gotten people telling me now, hey, we're hearing about this JJ story. We want to do stuff. So where it stands right now is that there's more and more information being collated for the defense. That there's, more work being done. But the latest thing is he got a letter from a psychiatrist saying that this was the direct result of medical-induced psychosis. So again, when they changed his meds, this led to the actual event. So he's got that. And the goal is to keep raising awareness, keep the story in the spotlight, support the family however can be supported, and not to take a plea deal at all. And the prosecution's already approached him several times trying to get him to take a plea deal. And he doesn't feel like, and he shouldn't either, because the prosecution wants a conviction. That's what they want. And so it stinks that we're even having to have this conversation. It shows that, there's a lot of work to be done in this area for veterans. It also underscores the importance of a veterans court for veterans and other things that, have to be taken into consideration when you have a veteran doing this. And then the law itself might need to be changed. His cousin is drafting the law to rectify what happened to her cousin. And his cousin Elizabeth is a professor of Homeland Security and Cybersecurity for the University of Auburn, Albany, in New York. So it's a long road. His trial date is in November, but if it doesn't get dropped outright, which it doesn't look like it's going to get to, the idea is to have an overwhelming show of force and evidence to, hey, you're going to put this in front of a jury of his peers. This is not going to go well. And the judge already wrote that opinion. The judge said, hey, we got to follow the law. The law is the law. And we can't just, rule on this. But if you put this in front of a jury of your peers, based on the evidence, this is not going to go anywhere. And I'm totally fine with that. So there's more to happen. There's more people to talk to. There's more being done. And again, we, all of us, in our own way can, whatever the issue is, whether it's JJ or somebody else, as long as we are making sure people hear about these issues, prosecutors, landlords, employers can't just, run over a veteran because it's just expedient to do so.
And that's kind of what happened with my uncle. I guess his landlord had been railroading him, and he ended up losing it, with a psychosis. And yeah, it just was not a good situation. So
Yeah.
I appreciate people like you guys that are advocating for those that need it.
Well, we got Mr. Adam Bird in the house. What's going on, boss man?
How's everybody doing?
We
Mr.
are
Bird.
doing wonderful, boss.
Good
How
to
are-
see everybody, and happy to be here finally. So my apologies for my tardiness, but wanted to make a presence tonight and see everybody, and it's good to be here.
Heck yeah, man. So first we were talking about the JJ Millett story that up in Vermont, the veteran that called 988, turned himself in. Prosecutor was basically trying to railroad him. That's kind of what we were talking about at the present moment in time. But I don't know, how much of that do you know about
I've
Adam?
seen bits and pieces of it, and I haven't seen enough to give an opinion. I'll put it that way.
I
But
got you.
it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it don't look good, especially if he, like Travis was saying, if he gets charged and he spends 20 years in prison, that sets a whole precedence for veterans across the country. Here they, his therapist said, "Hey, journal," and he's journaling, telling what's going on in his world, and then he gets medicine changed at the VA, and it reacts badly, and then he says, "Oh, I need to call 988." They mandatory report it. He turns himself in with no issues, and then the prosecuting attorney decided, "Hey, I'm going to take this a step further and say domestic terrorism." And if he winds up
Keep in mind, he has never had so much as a parking ticket.
Yeah.
No misdemeanors, no felonies at all. Honorably discharged from the military. Documented proof he's been following his VA, care protocol. Does not. If you look at Department of Homeland Security's, what makes a domestic terrorism event or person, the main component missing is intent.
Yeah.
There's no intent, and there's also no follow through. It really shows how justice can be made to be blind really quickly. So, when you look at all that and then look at the people getting involved, it's like, okay, I think we have something that we can advocate for here. But to Marie's point, anytime one of us advocates for another veteran, regardless if it's JJ or somebody else, it's just one less opportunity for someone to make a veteran less than. And I think that's the important thing that I'm learning at this point.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So I want to talk about some key legislation that's kind of going on right now in the world of politics, right? We got the Major Richard Starr Act, which they've been trying to push that for how many moons now? And then they just came up with Take Care of America Veterans Act as well. So kind of going back, what is the Major Richard Starr Act? It's designed to end what many veteran organizations call the wounded veteran tax. Now, me personally, I was not combat wounded, so I wasn't medically retired. So it don't really affect me. But if you are a veteran out there, you did 16 years, and then the military said, "Oh, you're medically retired." Um, it affects you when it comes to your retirement benefit plus your VA benefits. Um, and it says right here that it would allow eligible combat injured medically retired veterans to receive both their military retirement pay and VA disability compensation concurrently, eliminate the offset that currently reduces retirement pay. It approximately affects 50,000 plus combat injured veterans at the present moment in time. And then and then you got to take care of a Veterans Act. This one here, I think it kind of came out of nowhere because it came out in June this month, right? It's a large legislative package introduced in June 2026 that bundles the Major Richard Starr Act together with more than 60 other veteran bills covering health care, survivors benefits, access to care, transition assistance, and benefits expansion. So that one looks like it encompasses a buttload. But how do we know if they're good for us or bad for us? Anybody want to take a stab at any one of these?
So I think with the Major Richards Act, it's one of those things that I think is a great thing because let's take the 4-year Marine or the 4-year soldier that gets blown up by an IED, loses his leg, he can no longer continue service, and he just gets medically retired. Or he might not even get medically retired. I mean, maybe something else that happens when he's out processing. I think this is to benefit them probably the most, in my opinion, because I had to retire early because of the medical stuff. So I wouldn't even qualify for this act or the benefits that would come with this act if passed. But the ones that did 4-6 years and went on multiple deployments and got either IED blast, PTSD, and they just could no longer continue their service because of those injuries, and all they got was a handshake and a pat on the back out the door. These are the ones that are going to benefit the most from it, I think.
Anybody else?
I don't know anything about it, so I don't have much that I can contribute.
Okay. Now, Carol Lee, was your youngest, was he medically retired or what happened with him?
No, he was medically separated, so he was not medically retired.
Okay.
And that was me too. So does this act have something to do with medically discharged or only medically retired?
I think
only
just medically retired.
Yeah, medically
Got it.
retired. Because what it is if you did 16 years and you got medically retired at 16 years, well, your retirement benefit would be offset because you didn't do your full 20. Even though, so basically, it kind of breaks it down here. Let me see right here. All right, so imagine a combat wounded Army staff sergeant. I don't know what they get paid. Medical retirement is $2,500 a month. VA disability compensation is $2,000 a month. Current law, retirement pay reduced by $2,000, so your retirement would go from $2,500 to $500 a month. Veteran receives $500 retirement and $2,000 VA compensation, so making it a total of $2,500 a month. So you're losing out on $2,000 a month because you didn't do your full 20, even though the military said, "Oh, you got to retire." So basically, the act would change that where if you were medically retired, you would get the full 2,500, and then plus the 2,000 from the VA compensation. So you would get a total of $4,500 a month. Basically, is what that's saying. So, like Gunny, he's affected by this. Now, he's also on the other side because he has other VA benefits that he gets because he's a Purple Heart veteran and all of this. So they get some combat injured pay as well, other than his retirement. So he's kind of on the fence if it would be good for him or if it would be bad for him. Like I said, I didn't do 20 years in the military, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But if it is affecting that much pay on people that did say 14, 15 years and were medically separated or medically retired, then, it's one of those things,
Yeah.
give or take. So you guys, let's talk about the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. So this is where the controversy begins. The Take Care of America's Veterans Act is a large legislative package containing Major Richard Starr Act, more than 60 additional veterans bill, healthcare reforms, survivor benefits, whatever measures, transition assistance programs. So basically, like tetanitis right now it's 10%, right? That would go away. It would be considered a symptom rather than a separate disability. So they're going to try to do away with that. Now, if you already are rated for tetanitis, they can't take that away from you. But it said future claimants would no longer receive a standalone tetanitis rating, which we all know.
Can I just say one thing on that?
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like kind of a similar thing that they're trying to do with sleep apnea. They're trying to take away the disability percentage for sleep apnea or lower it down, or they already did, or something like that. And then tinnitus, because the idea is so many people are getting rated for tinnitus and for sleep apnea. If there is that many people that are getting diagnosed with these things, why are you punishing us for something that you are clearly doing to everybody?
Yeah.
Like everybody should get like an automatic disability percentage because sleep apnea and tinnitus are so regular. Why are you trying to punish us by taking that disability away when clearly it is documented that it is coming from the military? Oh, that stuff makes me so mad. Sorry. But,
no, you're fine.
That pisses me off. I hate hearing that kind of stuff. You are the ones that caused the thing. Why is it being taken? Why are we getting punished for it?
Yeah, but it's so hard. So to get sleep apnea as a primary disability, it's really hard. So right now I'm fighting. Why is it? Facebook just stopped out. There we go. So I got denied sleep apnea because they said it's not service connected. Right. So I just filed a secondary to link it to PTSD, anxiety, and all of that. So what I did, I went and had another sleep study done, even though my CPAP originally was not with the VA. So I did it outside. Right. And then I moved it to the VA just recently. So I went and had another sleep study done. And then I talked with my therapist and said, hey, and I talked to both of them. I said, hey, can you guys write me a letter, a Nexus letter saying that this is how this is linked together? Now, the sleep doctor said, well, I can't, I'm not, I don't do depression and anxiety and all of that. So I can't link those two together. My therapist said, yeah, I can link it from the studies. So I had both of them write a letter. Then myself, I wrote a letter, and then I had my wife write a letter as well, and we just submitted that. But what this is saying here with this new Take Care of America's Veterans Act, sleep apnea, currently CPAP usually generally qualifies for a 50% rating. That's what it generally qualifies for.
And they're trying to drop it.
Right. So it says for a single veteran in 2026, a 50% rating is worth roughly $1,100 per month in tax-free compensation. Proposed changes would be moved to a symptom-based system. So depending on how severe your sleep apnea is, and then eliminate the automatic 50% rating tied to CPAP use. That's crazy. So that's just
again punishing us for something that you have clearly done. If there's that many people that haven't, there is a reason. Sorry, someone was just Adam was just
No,
going to say something.
I've been tracking this a little bit, and I'm seeing a lot of it online the last couple of weeks, and the biggest, I'll try to keep it clean. The powers to be or the string pullers of down in DC are just like, where are we going to get this money from? So we got to make cuts. Like that's what they're. I've heard language like that a lot, and that it really strikes a nerve with me because they see the money that's being wasted in a whole bunch of other things, and they feel that this is where we should pull the money from, is from the veteran community.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. That's how I'm looking at it. It's irritating to see this, and the reason, and again, the other reason why they want to cut it right now is because what Marie said earlier, they know a whole bunch of vets are going to be as they're transitioning it out moving forward. They're going to see more and more cases of this, and they
especially you've got
no idea how they're going to be able to pay for it.
You have a whole new generation that is going to war right now with toxic exposure and all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to be having that same influx of people coming back, and they're going to be damaged. And so, they are definitely prerequisitely trying to protect themselves.
Well, here, I'm going to give you these numbers and see what you guys think. Numbers driving the debate. Opponent site VA estimates indicating up to 1.5 million veterans could be affected over time. Roughly 57 billion with a B billion in reduced disability compensation over 10 years. That number alone is alarming. That they're over 10 years, veterans are going to lose 57 billion in compensation.
It's my understanding too that they have taken roughly 50, give or take 50 different bills and thrown them together to create this one bill. And it's, terrible. And then you start going through each one individually, each one of those bills, and it's pretty interesting read, to say the least. So it includes, they've got some in there that are fine. They're great. But when you start going through and looking at all of them, I don't know.
Yeah. So this is arguments for. Welcome, Gunny Sonia, former Gunny. I had to give her a hard way to go there. So arguments for the Take Care of America's Veterans Act. All right. It finally gets the Richard Starr Act passed. Okay. I think that's going to get passed before this one probably does. It includes over 60 veteran bills. Many veteran programs that have stalled due to cost concerns could move forward. Keyword could move forward. Disability ratings should reflect modern medicine. Some policies argue CPAP treatment can successfully manage sleep apnea. Tetanitis often overlaps with other conditions. So that's the arguments for. And then arguments against organizations such as the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veteran have publicly objected to the package in its current form. Their concerns include veterans paying for veterans. They argue Congress is funding one group of veterans by reducing benefits available to another group of veterans. Tetanitis and sleep apnea are real disabilities, and I can tell you I suffer from both. So I would agree with that. Many veteran organizations contend tetanitis affects concentration, sleep, and mental health. I can tell you right now, when my ears start ringing, which they normally ring all the time, but sometimes worse than other, it does affect my concentration. It does wake me up from a dead sleep, and when you don't sleep, it affects your mental health. It puts you in a state of depression. Sleep apnea it increases risk of cardiovascular disease, fatigue, and other serious conditions. And then it sets a dangerous precedent. Critics worry that Congress could be altering disability ratings primarily to save money rather than rather than based solely on medical evidence. So I don't know the whole ins and outs of all the bills that are there, but what link, Travis, are you trying to post? But who else wants to jump in on that?
I was just going to make a comment about what Carol Lee was saying. I think that it's super sneaky that they do try to put all of these things at once, because you've got a couple things that you're like, oh, this sounds like a really, really good idea. And then they sneakily have all this stuff that comes up underneath it. And so you either have to deny the good things or accept the bad things in order to get what you want to get supported or not supported. It's really frustrating how they do that.
Yeah, I would agree. Travis, which link are you trying to get posted?
Well, I'm trying to post the Air Force link about the B-52 crew that went down.
All right, hold on.
But it's
While you're trying to find that, I was just going to say, for those of you who don't know, Sonia is awesome. She is a really huge advocate. She has a lot of different things that she's doing out in California right now. Do you want to kind of tell us a little bit about you, Sonia?
Yeah, I can. Let me just. My son's tablet is going in the background, but yeah, I'm actually the founder of Identity Recode for veterans, and I teach a free masterclass once a month. I also host like bonfires, hikes, kayaking events. For now, I'm actually kind of in the workings of possibly creating a retreat as well for veterans under my brand Identity Recode. And so it's just, I'm actually getting my master's degree right now in consciousness, psychology, and transformational leadership. And so a lot of what I teach is based on my own transformation from, kind of when I got out of the Marine Corps 3 years ago, it was like a toxic command, and it was a toxic relationship. And I had to realize that I had been in a trauma bond. And I basically went from rewiring not all, but most of the survival patterns I had into a secure attachment. And so this is something that has transformed my life tremendously. And so I just want to help get it out there to other veterans.
Yeah, I think, did I get you scheduled for Homefront? If not, we need to schedule a date for that.
Yeah, I think we did schedule a date. I have something on my calendar, I think.
Yeah, I think we did as well. Travis, do you want to go with your ideal real quick? You want to do that now, or you want to do it at the end?
It's up to you. It's your show, man.
No, it's all of our shows. It's not mine.
Okay,
It's all of
well,
our shows.
So, I mean, I don't know if you all saw, but a B-52 went down out of Edwards Air Force Base in California. All 8 people got killed. It's really, I used to practice shooting B-52s down. So it's something you learn about the aircraft. They don't go down that often. I mean, it had to be a catastrophic failure for it to fail the way it did, and for all 8 crew members to be lost. And I just wanted to see if we could all just do a moment of silence for those 8 Air Force airmen who, aren't with us anymore. Thank you.
Do you mind if I read those names?
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
Air Force Colonel Gregory Watson, Lieutenant Colonel Gabriel Estrella, Retired Lieutenant Colonel Miles Middleton, Major Alexander Davis, Major Robert D., Major Brad Hovey, Jerome Smith, Christopher Richard, and he was a flight test engineer, both he and Jeremy.
Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
You said it really good because I probably would have butchered half those names.
I've heard you read.
Listen, Linda. Anywho, Sonia, they were asking what your website is for you.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. I was gonna put that in there, but it's just soniaachara.com. But I'll put it in there as well.
All right. I'm excited to get you on the show to talk more about what you do as well, because I think it's super cool what you're doing.
So I got Sonia connected up with my co-host Brian. Most of you guys know him, and Sonia does these bonfires out there locally in San Diego, and is a huge advocate just for the local community. So if you're in San Diego, hit her up.
I'm gonna throw it in the chat there so people can click on it and see what's going on with you. All right. So anybody want to talk about the Take Care of Veterans Act? I know we did the moment of silence there, but I definitely want to talk more about the Major Richard Starr Act and also the Take Care of America's Veterans Act, because I think it's something that is in the forefront of the veteran community at the time, or at this time. And then we could talk about anything else that you guys want to talk about as well. Anybody?
So I'm still learning about the Richard Starr Act and how it all works. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm an expert, but one thing that I just know just from watching how our government works, doesn't matter who's in the White House, by the way, once something is taken away, it is almost impossible or never comes back. And if you take away one thing, well, then we can take away another thing and another thing and another thing. And for whatever reason, in the last, 7 to 10 years, veterans, the VA, have been a popular source to take things away from while we spend money. I mean, throw gobs of money at other things that have nothing to do with Americans taking care of, our country or our military. And to Marie's point, I definitely agree with you about this, Marie. If you don't want to pay out these claims, then maybe you should invest in better protective equipment. Maybe you should invest in, better training when it comes to material safety and data, all that handling, the MSDF sheets, that kind of thing. And maybe you should, make sure that we have proper ear protection and not get our earplugs and our ear headphones made by the lowest bidder. A little prevention now, solves this problem later. And I think that needs to be talked about before we agree to allow our benefits to be taken away. And this is the other thing, I'll close with this is, these elected officials forget that they work for us. And it's time they got reminded that, if you're going to mess with what a veteran is receiving right now, then, you need to count your days in office because you're not going to be there much longer. I think they've forgotten that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Marie, you want to talk about the COVID recalls?
Yeah. So this is something completely separate, but I wanted to bring up. Recently, I had an old NCO of mine that I deployed with who is now a major, and he is part of an organization within the military that is working on recalls for people who were discharged during COVID and refused to get the immunization. So their whole goal is to seek out people who got kicked out and give them an apology letter from Trump and say, hey, we apologize for kicking you out. We were wrong. We would like you to come back into the military, as all of this time will be considered time served. You will get paid for all of this time and you can come back in, or they will give them a proper honorable discharge and pay them for the last however many years they were out. So if you or someone were discharged due to COVID and you have not, due to not getting the COVID vaccine, and the military has not reached out to you, contact me. I will get you in contact with Major Cummings is his name. I'll get you in contact with him, and we will see what we can do to get you either reinstated if you want, or get you paid for the time that you were out. And I just want to make sure that that's put out there, because he said that Nathan said that they have been seeking out the people who have got out, but some of them kind of fell off the face of the planet, and they haven't been able to reach out to them. And a lot of them dealt with a lot of major depression when they got kicked out. And so, if you know anybody who refused the COVID shot and got discharged, let them know that they can come back in or get paid for the time that they've been out.
All right. So here's what I found about that. Service members involuntary discharge for refusing the COVID-19 vaccination are eligible for records correction and reinstatement through at least April 1st, 2027. Upgraded records, restored rank, back pay are available. So it looks like to facilitate the reintegration of these warriors of conscience, the Department of Defense expanded both the timeline and incentives for former personnel to return. So your reinstatement deadline, April 1st, 2027, reduce service obligation, like Marie said. But it says the required return to service commitment has been cut in half from 4 years to 2 years. This applies to future reinstatements and retroactively to those who already returned. Discharge upgrades, and this is how to apply. Veterans and former service members do not need to wait for automatic reviews and can proactively start the process. Record corrections, if you want to do that, you just you must file a DD form 149, that dreaded DD form, with the appropriate board for your branch. You can learn more at the military department review boards.
So all of that will be considered time served, and that's what they're talking about with the records correction. Is they will actually say that these last 6 years will go into your time served. So if you're like going for government retirement or whatnot, all of this will go into it, from my understanding.
Okay.
Yep. And then they call it a warrior of conscience, because it was the people who said, hey, I don't feel right about getting the shot, or hey, according to my religion, I can't do this. And so they realized that, oh, we punished these people for the wrong thing, and they were just standing up for what they felt was right. And so that's why they have the nickname Warriors of Conscience.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's good in a way. What do you guys think?
Yes. Oh, I think it's fantastic. They're getting paid, they're getting time served. Yeah. An apology letter. I think it's wonderful.
I think this is good because so when I was going through my medical board, my medical board got delayed because of COVID, and so I had quite a few friends, and a lot of my Marines even did the same thing, because again, religious beliefs, they decided not to get it and they were forced out. And other than honorable is really what their discharge was. So I think this is a great thing for them, because again, we are always told as service members to stand up for what is right, do what you think is right, and they got penalized for it. And so I think this is a great way for them to get what they really deserve, and kind of put the next foot forward for them.
I think too that I think it's great that they're getting, what they deserve for standing up for themselves, their beliefs. I wish all of them, every one of them, would get an apology letter for having to take it. I'm not talking just those who got released from duty, but all of them, every single one who had to take it, should probably get an apology letter.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, now your son, Carol Lee, he took it and had an adverse reaction to the COVID shot.
He did.
I don't know what's going on with that. Like, legal wise, I don't know if there's anything like pending. But I think, because that screwed him up for the rest of his life.
It did.
So there should be some sort of compensation because they forced him to take the COVID shot, and he had the reaction that he did and how it's affected him for the rest of his life. So
Well, his compensation, of course, is his VA benefit, his monthly VA disability check. That is his compensation. And it is what it is. He's young, thank goodness. And he's actually right now utilizing his GI Bill and trying to do something with his life instead of just staying at home and doing nothing. So I'm super proud of him. But I mean, he has the documentation in his medical files that he has, that literally he was required to sign, that said that the FDA approved these COVID shots and they were 100% safe. Like literally, that's the wording on them.
that's crazy. That is, yeah.
There's a guy that I was recently introduced to, and I don't know if it was the COVID shot or if it was another shot, but he had gotten some form of immunization. He didn't tell me which one, but he got some form of immunization and had an adverse reaction, and he is blind now. And he got a medical discharge and got his disability as well. But yeah, that's something that'll affect him his whole life. And so I think that it's wonderful that they are compensating those who got out, knowing that there were some effects. It wasn't tested enough, knowing that it could be damaging, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. And so I'm grateful that they are being compensated. And it really sucks, to hear that people suffered so much from this, something that's supposed to help. But then, and the fact that they lied saying it was 100% safe, that's just heartbreaking. And I'm so sorry to hear that, Carol.
Well, thank you. And then the thing about that is too, how many cases of adverse reactions to that COVID shot in the military were actually accounted for with the powers that be, the reporting system for the adverse reactions for the COVID shot. How many of those went there? Probably none.
None. Probably none. Yeah. So I had a buddy that was in the Navy back when I was in the Marines. We got the anthrax vaccination, right? Back then, everybody that was in the military had to get the anthrax vaccination if you were getting deployed. And he got I guess a bad batch of his vaccination. Now he has MS because of the anthrax. So it's just like, and I didn't have a bad reaction to when they gave me the anthrax, but of course the military, we're the guinea pigs of any vaccination, especially if you're getting deployed. They're like, oh, well, you need this or you need this, and it's just like, how safe is it, really? I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, holy cow. So, let's see. Adam, you're being awful quiet over there.
Just taking it all in. I'm trying not to lose my temper.
Try not to lose your temper.
It's infuriating. It's just because they'll say, well, you guys volunteered for it and you did this, and then, but in the small print, we're going to take care of you when you get out. And then they turn around and you start seeing bills that they're trying to pass. And, somebody said it earlier, it's, they put 5, 6, 10, 20, you get these 1,000+ page bills. They expect us not to sit there and read it. Let's be honest, most people won't.
Right.
And that's how, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy.
No, do it.
That's what I don't. Those things where it's just like, that's how they get away with stuff. And then they wonder why, all of a sudden we're the bad guys. Like, oh, that would never happen. the government takes care of.
I think it's funny when you have the people that are eyes wide shut. They're looking, but they don't see.
It's listen, I'm a guy. I've said this on different interviews and stuff. Like, I went through college with the mindset of a D will get you a degree, and that's certainly not nothing to brag about. But I got the piece of paper, and if I can see what's going on, and I questioned, like, why can't everybody else see what's really happening? And and I think we're becoming so, as a society, I think we're seeing more and more people just like, okay, well, we're kind of used to seeing that, and I think we got it. I think, especially in the veteran community, I think we're getting to a point where, okay, there's enough of us now that have had enough of the BS.
Yeah.
That eventually, and let me say this first. I'm not condoning anything here, but eventually, if they keep pushing, we're going to end up pushing back, and I'm almost certain that we're going to push back a hell of a lot harder than we're doing right now.
I hope that that's the case, because with so much, right, when new things get introduced in little batches, we become almost immune to the ever-changing ecosystem of our life and the governmental policies. And so when something else occurs that is not beneficial to us as a society, we just ignore it and figure, well, that's life. Right. So my hope is that you're correct, Adam, that the veteran community doesn't downplay this, and that they really stay on top of it. And, because let's face it, there's a lot of veterans who would prefer to just, this is my safe space, right? This is my area, and I don't want to involve myself outside of that because it's stressful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just, I think we as veterans, there's enough of us, like Adam said, there's enough of us that we can push back. Kind of like when, the VA was going to change what they were going to change, and everybody's like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And then they rescinded it pretty much the same day, right? And then it's kind of like the J.J. Millett story, or Marie's uncle down here in Kentucky. If we as veterans stand up and say, hey, enough is enough, I think we can help help these veterans out. And that's what we need to do. We need to be a cohesive unit,
yes,
like we were when we were in the military. And if enough of us stand up and say, hey, enough is enough, this is what needs to happen, I think we can make changes. And now I will tell you, we talk about it all the time on Homefront Sit Rep, and I'm sure other guys here with their podcast, they talk about it as well. It starts at the local level. You got to get the veterans in your area, whether your local county, your local state, wherever, and make changes locally. And then from there, you can go state, and then you can go from state to federal. So changes need to be made because we're not guinea pigs, and we're not here for the federal government to say, oh, well, they don't matter anymore because we're not still serving our country. But yet here we are still serving our brothers and sisters. So I think that's what needs to happen, a grassroots movement, so we can help eliminate some of the, as Adam said a while ago, bullshit that's going on. I think that's what we need to do. So anywho, so I got an email. Who here has heard of Challenge America? Anybody here has heard of Challenge America?
That's the Cav Arts. That's the people that do the Cav Arts.
Yes, they do the Challenge America. They had, so Challenge America is two parts. You got the female veteran side of things, which is the Military Sisters Initiative. Well, I forget what it's called. And then you have Challenge America, which I'm going to throw their website here in chat. We got an email. So Cav Arts website, or Challenge America website's coming up. So we got an email from Megan. We love Megan within the Cav Arts community. She says, we're excited to share news about a very special event with you. As America approaches its 250th anniversary, Challenge America is issuing a challenge to the nation to build the next 250 years with the same commitment, courage, and sacrifice demonstrated by those who serve. On July 20th, 2026, at the iconic Grand Ole Opry, Challenge America will launch a national movement dedicated to honoring veterans, service members, military families, and caregivers, past, present, and future, featuring Vince Gill, Amy Grant, and special guests. The historic gathering will unite leaders from across philanthropy, healthcare, business, entertainment, and the military community around one shared mission to ensure that no veteran or military family suffers in silence. So the website's here in chat. You can actually go to the website, Challenge America. Across the top, it says July 2026 Grand Ole Opry. Click on that, and it'll tell you more about what's going on there. I definitely wanted to get that out there because I live 2.5 hours from Nashville, and I'm hoping I can go. I'm hoping I can talk the wife into going down there.
It's right down the road.
Yeah. So you can go to the website and you can buy your tickets on. Well, actually, here's the link for tickets. Copy. I'll throw the link here in chat as well for buying the tickets. Somebody already beat me to it. ICOM.
That's what you hired me for, dog.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, you're getting paid for this?
No,
He gets Scooby snacks.
Oh, there we go.
I guess I'm voluntold, but it's still a job. Hey, while you're looking for that, I just want to wax poetic about something, man. Like,
Go for it.
this is why I love doing this podcast with you guys. You know, I watch y'all social media, and you probably see me comment and like sometimes. But the overarching thing that I'm seeing here today is there's a lot of people that do a lot of digging into finding a lot of good information for veterans. And I think it's incumbent upon the veterans that, like Marie talked about, that served the global war on terror, and then all these brand new veterans that are going to be encountering the same things over different battlefields across the world. It's crazy what they're going to have to deal with. And I do think it's a terrible precedent. I know I didn't talk much during the show. It's a terrible precedent to set up veterans to be just ramrodded like that. That's a terrible precedent to set for legalities. But here, the overarching thing that we've talked about today has been about education, and the education that is available at your local VFWs. I live in Texas, so the Texas legislative representatives for VFW District 4 here in Houston is a guy named Victor Ramirez. So he explains these things to us, you know, what's the good, the bad, and he keeps the veterans that are part of the VFW very informed. So I would encourage you to get out there and get that education, and watch these podcasts, because our podcast really just talks about veteran stories, but being on this podcast just gives me whiplash for all the knowledge and all the things you go through, because I deployed 7 times during the global war on terror. I was the wet dream of the VA care. Everything that ever happened to me was documented. I was a first time go 100%. The medical board process turned into a 18-year medical retirement, and you know, just everything perfect happened for me. So I love the fact that there's people fighting. I love the fact that our system's got to get better, and there's people like you out there doing it. Like it makes you realize how much you don't freaking pay attention. So all you veterans out there and active duty service members, train hard. I wrote some notes here. Train hard, document everything you do, change your diet to be able to outrun a lot of these things that will happen to you in war. That's I think that's the overarching advice we've got here today. Take it away, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the link in there, if you want to buy the tickets, is in there. So you can click on that, get the tickets. If you're close to the Nashville area, go support. I will tell you, Challenge America, they do amazing things. if you go to cavarts.org, especially if you're into metalworking, leatherworking, you want to learn how to podcast. There's just so many things that you can go to cavarts.org and see what they got. Especially it's Challenge America Veterans in the Arts. That's what CAVARTS stands for. So if you a songwriter, poetry, whatever you do, go check out cavarts.org. But also check out challengeamerica.com, because I will tell you the team there, they are phenomenal. They really care about veterans, and they're doing amazing things. So go check them out. All right. It is about that time, ladies and gents. What do y'all think?
All right.
Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Anybody?
No, it was a great conversation. I enjoyed talking to you guys. Like, I want Marie to come on my show like tomorrow, and at the beginning just explain that COVID thing. Just like wax poetic about it for about 3 or 4 minutes if you got time, because we have a U.S. Army Ranger on the show tomorrow, so I think he's going to be a few minutes late if you want to come on and talk on our show about that too, because I think that people were not very well taken care of, just like everyone talked about, and the fact that they're going to be taken care of. Like, I only took one of the shots, but after I took the first shot, it just seemed like that whole thing was a joke. So thank you for digging on that, Marie.
Yeah, send me details and I'll get with you. But yeah, I'll gladly talk, and I can get you in contact with my friend that is on the committee.
Absolutely.
So I want to give a big shout out to Kevin Lombardo. Just recently retired.
I just had him on my podcast today.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he just recently retired. Him and
He
his
hasn't
wife.
retired yet.
I thought he has. I thought he was getting
Nope,
ready.
not until January, February.
All right, so he's getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
Him and his wife Sandy, they created Boots to Beaches. If you want to go on a vacation, check out Boots to Beaches. It is awesome. Gunny Deeds was the first recipient.
I was just gonna say Kevin's been in the military for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And so he's getting ready to retire, and him and his wife are doing some amazing things. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You had him on your show today. Go ahead.
No, I'm just so excited. Like he really is doing some awesome things. This man has been through hell in his
Yes, he
life.
has.
Complete hell, losing a child and just all sorts of stuff, multiple deployments. And him and his wife started a travel company, and they decided that they wanted to they've been helping veterans and family members with their travel, and they finally just got their application in and their approval for the nonprofit for the Boots to Beaches. And so they've been doing it for years. And like Willis was just saying, Gunny was the first recipient of their official, program. And so they're doing some really awesome things. If you guys want to donate to help them out, if you are looking for a vacation, they will pay for the trip for you. So they've got, I think he said something like 60 applications at the moment. So it might be a little while, but if you are interested in helping out, reach out to him. He's just an amazing, amazing man. And he is a huge advocate for veterans. He's just got an incredible story. Our interview with him won't air for about another month and a half, but as soon as it airs, please check it out. But I know other people have interviewed him.
I've had him on my show.
Yes. So yeah, just awesome.
Yeah, so go check out bootstobeaches.org. Like Marie said, Gunny was the first recipient. Now, what the plan is for Boots to Beaches, if I remember correctly, say you want to go on a vacation, but you can only afford so much, and you reach out to Boots to Beaches, and they can help you if you don't have enough money to cover. So that's kind of where the nonprofits. So they have their main business, their travel agency, and then Boots to Beaches is supposed to help veterans to help pay for, if they can't afford the full vacation. That's where Boots to Beaches comes in. And It's phenomenal. So yeah, definitely
They're
check
also-
them out.
Yeah, they're also one of the ways that they got connected with Gunny is that they partner with a program called Blue Skies for Good Guys and Gals. And those people are the ones that own the company that does the nonprofit
Fast Track.
Fast
Yeah.
Tracks, which is the one that they will do honor jumps in honor of the fallen. And so that is Gunny goes and jumps with them. So there's this whole huge collaboration, but they will also pay for transportation for the Blue Skies for Good Guys and Gals as well. And so, yeah, they're just doing some really awesome things. They said that they just did a vacation for a bunch of Vietnam vets, and so they just are really doing some great stuff.
Yes, they are. So Valor Vacations is their main business, and then Boots to Beaches is their nonprofit. So go check out Valor Vacations, and then also check out bootstobeaches.org as well. Doing amazing work.
Jessica Lynch is also one of their ambassadors.
Yep.
And they've got some really awesome people on their board. So there's a lot of people that are involved with it.
All right. Well, it is time to wrap it up, and you know what that means. Who's going first? Who's going first? You know how to wrap it up, Travis. You're first.
I'm simply going to say, hey, we're coming into 250 years of the USA, and it's kind of cool being reminded how great this country is by all the foreigners, the Europeans, the South Americans, everybody from around the world coming here for the World Cup, and they're like, wow, they don't know what to say. And I'm so impressed by the Scots who drank Boston Dry. That's a fact. So I'm glad that when you put the politics and the this and that aside, we're all human beings, and when people got to see America, we were at our best. So that extends over into all my military and veteran family. We're coming into year 250. We're stronger together. Let's not forget that. And I'll close with this: God bless America.
Miss Carol Lee, you're up. You're muted, sweetheart.
I wanted to say thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here, and as the token civilian, if you will. But it's always nice to hear the veteran community, their thoughts on certain things, and it helps me also understand what my veterans are kind of thinking about it. So, but yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And, I want to wish everybody coming up before too long, we will be hitting that 250-year mark. So wish everybody a happy 4th coming up soon. It's like right around the corner. So just thank you all. And thank you, Willis, and everybody else for what you do.
Awesome. Marie, you are up.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on here. For those of you who don't know me, I do recovery and veteran advocacy, and a lot of the resources we've talked about today, I am either connected to or I can connect you with. So if you are needing some extra support for recovery from trauma and addictions, or just for veteran resources, please reach out to me at sliderbabe.com. I'm also working on a project that is, there's about 10 programs and I that are working on I call it the Veteran Database Think Tank. And we're working on a global database that is accessible for service members when they are getting out to get connected to resources. So if you want to get involved with that, please reach out to me as well. And the last thing I'll say is remember that your story matters. That one of the biggest things when I've asked people to come on my show is they'll say, oh, my story's boring, or no one wants to hear my story. And the reality is your story does matter. It is important to you, and it's important to the people you love. And your story can help even just one person. And that one person might be you in the future. So share your story, reach out, write it, talk about it, go on podcasts or however you need to. Find your voice, share your story, because it matters, and it will matter to you in the future as well. So keep talking, and reach out to me if you need some support. Thanks, guys.
Amen. Mr. John Cole, you're up, sir.
Yeah, thank you, man. My first time here, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of this group. It's been amazing. For the ones that don't know me, I'm John. I host a Bunkhouse podcast where I give kind of a non-judgmental place for veterans to share their story along kind of where they came from, some of their trials and tribulations, and the growth and the healing on the other side of those things. And so, yeah, thank you for being here. And if anybody's in the Raleigh, North Carolina area coming up this weekend, I'll be at the Carolina Hurricanes celebration and parade for the Stanley Cup. So hope to see you there. Go Canes.
Awesome. All right. Mr. Ty Cobb, you are up. You're muted, brother.
Yeah, my bad. I'm always glad to be here. I've heard some great information tonight. 4th of July is coming up. Remember what our country is supposed to be. We're supposed to take care of each other. Remember that freedom's not free, that all these veterans that fought during all the way back to the Revolutionary War for us to become a nation. I know we've got a lot of stuff going on. I know there's a lot of bad stuff going on, and our brains aren't really shaped and fitted to be able to take on as much information as we do. But get out there, touch some grass. It's a nonprofit I work with. Their tagline is "Get Out There," the Project Zero. So the biggest thing has helped an old grumpy veteran like me that for so many years was out there deploying and then coming back and then getting divorced and all these things that happen to you. I've always had such a very big network, and this network here means a lot to me. But go out and watch the Bunkhouse podcast. Go out and watch Sonya. Go out and watch Adam Bird. I mean, go watch Travis Partington. His voice is cool enough to listen to on your drive, and the intelligence and all the digging that's going on with Carol Lee and Marie. And then I just met John Cole recently. I mean, man, great stuff you're doing here, Willis. Love you. And don't forget to watch the Triple Threat Vet podcast every Thursday, 7 p.m.
Awesome. All right. Can you hear us, Gunny? I don't know if she can hear us. Yeah.
Or is it my turn?
Yes, ma'am. You're up. We can't hear her. She muted herself.
I can't hear anyone. I'm not sure what's going on.
All right. We'll go here. All right, Adam Bird, you're up.
First off, I want to say thank you for this community that you've built here, David. I don't get a chance, obviously, to get on these much, but I watch pretty much every month and what you've created here. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Adam Bird. I am the founder and CEO of Heroes Media Group. I've been podcasting since 2012. I started the first veteran podcast network back then, and I see this here. When David approached me with coming up with Tip of the Spear, I was like, run with it, man. Let me know what I could do to support. Most of you, this is probably first time seeing me. I've known, Travis, I've known you for a long time. Ty, I know of you, and I think we've talked once or twice offline. The rest of you, I see what you guys are doing, and it's very special. So I want to put that out there and say thank you to each and every one of you that are here, those of you that are watching online tonight. This is a great community, and this is what community is all about. And David, you leading the charge on that, so you've done a great job with that. Father's Day is around the corner. Shout out to all my fathers out there. I was a single parent for 15 years, so like all the dads out there, hope you have a wonderful Father's Day. 250th coming up. It's great. If anybody's got something going on, if there's something I can do to help, get you guys passes or something, hit me up. David, have them reach out to you and get a hold of me and see what we could do there. And then
Yes,
again,
sir.
I cannot say thank you enough for what you guys are doing. Hell of a job, everybody in this community. Just keep up the great work. And if there's anything that I can do for anybody, David's got my contact information. Feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you.
All right. It is my turn. Listen, I want to thank everybody that is a part of the tip of the spear. When I first came up with the idea to do it, I was like, hey, we need to all come together and support each other because that's the only way. And then plus networking. Like Marie said earlier, she reached out to me and said, hey, my uncle's in Moorhead, Kentucky, ain't been seen in 2 days. Can you help me? Within 30 minutes, we had somebody knocking on his door. Within a day and a half, we located him. He was in the hospital. And now we got a group text with everybody, and we're got him a lawyer. Hopefully we can get him moved to the VA. That's what the tip of the spear is about. It's about that networking and building that community across the nation. That's why we do that. But it's also for this right here. You're not alone. Listen, don't let your dark days win. Remember, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you were deeply held in the hearts of others. You're not alone. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal, together we rise, and together we carry each other forward. And be someone stranger. When you're out and about and you look and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them, ask them how they're doing. If they give you the red flags, I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm living the dream. That's the next part. How are you really doing? And be ready for that conversation. It could be a 5-minute conversation. It could be an 8-hour conversation. Ready for that. You have to be ready for that conversation. And just listen. Because a lot of times we just want to get the information, the demons out of our heads. We don't need somebody to fix us. We just need somebody to listen to us. So just ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? And then this right here, it takes a village. Listen, that's what this is. This is my village. The tip of the spear is my village. Everybody in here I can reach out to. I can reach out to Travis, Carol Lee, Ty, Marie, Adam. I just met John, but I sure know I could reach out to him and say, hey, I got this problem. Can you help me out? So it takes a village. And everybody has this right here. Their cell phone has contacts in it. Mine has a little over 2,000 contacts. Go to your contacts, scroll through it, boom, click on it, call that person. They don't answer, leave a message, say, hey man, it's Willis. Just calling and check in on you, see how you're doing. If they don't answer, hang up, call back, do somebody else. So it takes a village. But I want to say thank you to everybody that comes back every month, every last Wednesday of the month. Unfortunately, we had to do it at the Wednesday before because of my wife's birthday. But our next episode will be July 29th. And if you haven't followed Oscar Mike Radio, Conversations with the Vet, every day is a Saturday, USMC Vet, Triple Threat Vets Podcast, the Bunkhouse Podcast, Homefront Sit Rep, the Decision Hour. If you haven't followed these, go do it because everybody's doing great stuff. And then my producer, Ty, just put up our shirts. I'm wearing the spicy pineapple. It says Tossing Joy in People's Life since 1918 on the back. So go to homefrontsitrep.com and click on the merch, and you can see our shirts there to help us continue our mission. But other than that, ladies and gents, it is that time of night. So like we always say, stay safe out there. We got your six.